It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us for a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store on Etsy. Here's the link in the description. We've got a couple of nice products here. We've got a couple of the Trade Cave Dragon shirts. We've got Sir Doge, Lord of Maximum Coinage. That's my personal favorite. We've got the Trade Cave logo. We also have a sticker here. All free shipping here. $29.99 for the shirts, $8.99 for the sticker. Don't forget to check it out. All right. First of all, let's get into the miners. So, Clean Spark. All right, Clean Spark. The weekly close on Clean Spark is honestly boring. It's really, really boring. So we ran up here to 2050 last week. This week we are printing a doji candle solidly beneath $20 the entire week. We didn't go back up to it. That's a little bit concerning. I don't love that. We are completely detached from the mid ATR band here. I don't love that. This kind of was a blow-off candle here on July 15th, and that was showing that we're going to come down lower. This is a doji candle this week, not really showing whether or not we're going to go up or down. You can see here that since April 1st back here that week, we have been fluctuating on the R side between 60 and like 46, 60 and 46, and we're still doing that. Now this time we came up, nope, still 60 to 46. We've been trapped. We were trapped under the signal line before. We have recently, let me make this bigger, we have recently, just 2 weeks ago, got above the signal line, and we are still currently above the signal line, and we came down to tap it from above. That is slightly a good sign. This is a little bit, because we are in bull territory on the RSI. But as we know, Clean Spark has not stopped diluting on us for quite a while here. Every time we go up, they dilute us down. There's a reason we keep hitting 20, 50, $21, and then come right back down to 15 over and over and over and over again. It's because they're diluting on us. Now, on the MACD here for the weekly, you can see that we are headed down, but it is starting to curl sideways now. That's a good sign. So it's been coming down since April, and it is now starting to go flat. That's a good sign. We seeing these white bars here, that's a good sign. We want to see those get smaller and smaller and eventually turn green. We get a green one on the weekly here, oof, that's going to be the beginning of some sort of move like this. Now, this here, let me turn off all of this. This formation that has been going on since February here on Clean Spark is one of the biggest flags I've ever seen. It's a huge flag. You got a couple of formations in here off of that. So let me do some drawings. So we've got, this is the handle, right? We are actually almost ready to break out of this handle. This is the big handle from the Giga Cup I've been talking about, which is starting back here, right? It came all the way down to $2 and then all the way back up to 25 and then back down to 15. That's that big cup I've been talking about that they have been suppressing us from getting out of. But once we break out of that channel, there's not really much holding us back and we can go up. And remember, I've mentioned before how high we can go on this thing. And how high, in my opinion, off of this flag that's been going on for such a long time, I honestly think we could go up to about $40. Now we're going to struggle around 25 because that's the previous high over here, right? And the brim of the cup. We're going to struggle around 25. Then we're going to do a little bit of struggling again around 33. But once we conquer 25 and 33, $40 is going to come real fast on Clean Spark. Okay. So, and we'll also look at this on the monthly chart here in a couple of days. That's next week. Next week, we will be doing the monthly candles as well. So we haven't looked at, right in here. So this is my expectations at some point. So I do think the summer run might be over. Now there are 2 more weeks that we could see some big positivity before that September seasonality comes in, that October comes in and swats us down and keeps us around that $15 level for possibly 2 more months. We might see this, 3 more months. We might see 3 more months of pain if we don't break out of this flag here in the next 2 to 3 weeks maximum. Once that's done, unless the Fed rate cuts have a huge impact on Clean Spark, I think we are going to be seeing that bear seasonality come through. And honestly, the highest I see us going in the short term here would be like $28, $30. Before encountering some significant resistance holding us back until Q4. Q4 is what I'm looking at to try to get up to that $40 level on CleanSpark. And let's take a look at the SMAs. I haven't looked at the SMAs in a while. So we have been hugging the 20-week SMA, honestly, since April. We've just been gravitating very closely to the 20-week and the 5-week moving averages here. I think if we lose, so here's some potential scariness for September, October timeframe, like that timeframe in the next 90 days. We could see a flash down if Bitcoin shows weakness. We could see a flash down to the 50-week moving average, which is currently at 1165, but by the time we get there, it will probably be closer to like 1250. So there is 1250 downside potential on CleanSpark if we lose this flag for any reason, if there's any kind of pandemonium or fear that comes out. That would be our ultimate resting place, would be about 12. And on the upside here, we're going to struggle. Like I said, 25, we're going to struggle. About 33, we're going to struggle. And then we're going to find ourselves up around 40 here, hopefully sometime around Q4. Hopefully that doesn't take us all the way until next year into 2025 to achieve that. All right, let's move on to Mara. All right, let's take a look here. Also, Mara has also been absolutely decimated since February. It's been just a garbage shoot for Mara. It's been coming, it came down hard all the way down to 14. You better believe I was buying down there when I was buying, and then I let it go up here around 21, and then I bought again around 17, and I let it go, not up there, I let it go around like 22, 23, honestly. So what are we seeing here? Notice how we did not break this trend line here, even in the worst sell-offs. All right, let me get rid of that one now. We did not break this white trend line here, even in the worst sell-off. Let me turn off all my indicators right now. All right, we are still in this ascending channel here, this big one, this big ascending channel here. We have to conquer 2275. Remember, that's been a rough one. We got out of it last week, came right back into it this week, so that means we have not conquered it. We have not conquered that level yet, so that level is still going to be a struggle for us at the 2275. Look at how we came right back down to 1980. We came right back down to 1980, just kind of like kept it and then went back up again. 1980, it's not done with 1980 yet, which is really kind of frustrating for Mara. Notice, though, there was some big news that came out this week for Mara. And Mara is now not only mining Bitcoin, but also taking a page out of the book of MicroStrategy, and they are now buying Bitcoin with their cash on hand. So they're not just mining it, they're now buying it as well. So watch out for Mara. Mara's going to get real interesting here with that kind of tactic, because we know that unprofitable companies can see huge upside just from buying Bitcoin. So watch them build their treasury here in that way. That's pretty cool. I do like that about Mara. That made me pretty bullish on Mara when I read that news. So I might view this dip here as a potential area to enter in on Mara potentially. And of course, none of this is financial advice, and none of this and is a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Simply my opinions about the charts. Okay. But yeah, we came back, we tested this area. I don't hate that. Like, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I do see this as a potential launch pad right here, right? Now, let me bring up some SMAs. Let's see if that's any of those things line up. Yes, absolutely. I see this as a potential launch pad. Okay, Mara's got my interest now big time. All right, so we came all the way up here, right, to 27. We failed. We came right back down to the 20 and 200 week moving averages, the 20 week at 1966, the 200 week at 1930. We bounced hard off of those things on Friday. Now, that interests me. I like that. So once we clear 2467, you better watch out. This thing's going to be a rocket. Once we clear 2467 again, which is the body of this bullish candle from last week, once we clear that, we're running for these highs again. Just watch. We're going to run for those highs again. Now, if we lose the 200-week moving average, I'm not too concerned. I'm not too scared, because there's the 50-week right down there at 1714 to catch us. That's where I think it would stop. And we might go a little bit, we might dip a little bit beneath it, kind of like we did back here in September, and then kind of scoop our way up again and then launch from there, because they found the liquidity. The liquidity will be found somewhere around 15, 16 bucks, but I don't see it going any lower than like 1563 and then scooping up and then just launching up and making 34 look cheap. So watch out for Mara. Mara is brewing something. Mara's got my interest right now, especially coming back, like launching off of the 200-week moving average from July 8th, that week of July 8th. We did a gap up, what looked like it was going to be a gap up and go, but then it was a fake out breakout, came right back down to the 200-week moving average, bounced off of it, we can hold that. We can hold that bounce, get back above 24, that 2470, 2480 level area right there. Man, we're gonna take off. Notice how when we came up here, the body of these two candles from the last 2 weeks meet up, right there, meet up perfectly kind of with the bottom of the tops of the candles from the December as well as February high. Like they're not perfect, but they're like near the bottom of those candles is where the bodies of these newest highs met and failed. So I want to see it get above that area, right? Get above the body of the bullish candle here from July 15th, and then I'll be looking at it to come to the top of this channel again, which by the time it doesn't, like 2 or 3 weeks, will be like 30 some odd dollars for Mara, and possibly see a wick that goes way above that here. So that is pretty exciting for Mara. Let's take a look at the fib clouds real quick. How are those showing? Oh yeah, so yeah, we're also dancing around on the midline of the ATR. We went above it, we came back to test it. If we can close, yeah, that's great. Yeah, and then we have upside again, $30. Confluence, people, confluence. And I mean, we could even potentially see a wick all the way up to $42, which would be crazy, but it could happen. Totally happen. Is there any other sort of things going on in Mara that I need to pay attention to? Mara was also doing its own sort of version of that inverted, of that cup and handle that I mentioned for CleanSpark. It's a lot uglier though. For that to complete, we got to get above $31, and then we have an upside potential in the 50s for Mara. We'll see with them buying Bitcoin. That could be a potential. Let's take a look at Bitfarms. How is Bitfarms doing this week? What's their weekly looking like? I don't hate it. I don't love it. Okay, so let me turn on drawings. Sell out drawings. Let me turn that off. That's not useful to me right now. Okay, yeah. I have a lot less drawings on this now. Anyways, so this trend line right here. I want to see it hold that. Okay, it breaks this one. I'm going to make this actually a little bit bigger. I'm going to make this one red. Because if it breaks that one, that's bad. We're having a bad time if it breaks that. If it breaks that, we're going to come quickly to 250. 250 can't hold. $2. That's just the reality of that situation if it happens. It hasn't happened yet, so don't worry. Nothing to be concerned about yet. I do like this candle a little better than CleanSpark. It's not as much of a doji. Now, we came all the way down to 250 and fought our way back up to 269, where we closed the week out. We closed above this kind of shooting star pattern. Not shooting star. Is that a shooting star? This hammer candle from that hammer candle from July 1st. We closed above that. I like that. That's good. We closed right at the body of the candle from last week, the lower part of that body. I don't hate that. That's not bad either. I really need to see Bitfarms get above 287 and close above 287. That's when I think that's going to unlock our ability to smash through $3 for Bitfarms, and that's because that's the top of the body of this week as well as the top of the body of this huge bullish candle from June 10th. If we can get above those two, we're in business. We're in business, and we're going to run for this high here at 315, and then probably this one at 327, and hopefully, finally, this high here from February up at 392, and we get into the $4 range. That's where I'd be looking to take some profit for the season and then sit back and wait for the bear season to come in and give me better prices back down around 250 again. If you look at this, we have a cup and handle. And if we break out here and we get above this white line, $3, above $3, that unlocks us to come all the way up to about $4. So there is a cup and handle forming on the weekly chart for Bitfarms. It's looking pretty good. We do need to get above that. Well, honestly, we got to get above that 287 level. That's really going to be what unlocks our ability to go higher and smash through $3. But really, once we get above $3, we've confirmed that we're likely going to go to 4 based off this cup and handle formation, which is inside of another cup and handle. And we did break out of that handle here when we broke out here back here in June 17th. We are outside of that descending part of the handle, and we are in the ascending part of the handle now. And this little cup and handle back here that is forming right now, that takes us all the way to back up to what? The brim of the big cup and handle. So if this one plays out, that takes us right up to the brim of the previous cup and handle, where we will struggle a little bit before finding our way up into the lower $4 ranges there for Bitfarm. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and look at some indicators here. So we did hold above the mid ATR band here on the weekly. That's good. We came down and bounced off of it. That's great. That actually opens us up to the top ATR band at 341 potentially, which we have gotten close to, but haven't quite touched in a while, actually. So I think it's our due time to come up and touch the top of that ATR band. And up here, this cloud up here, this is where I think like this big cup and handle could find its resting place sometime this year, like $6, $7, maybe even $8. If things get really on a heater here for Bit Farms. Now there are some headwinds for Bit Farms. Let's take a look at the moving averages. Yeah, we came down to the 200-week moving average and bounced off of it. We bounced off the 20-week before. This time, look at this time. This time we're bouncing off the 200-week. That's a good sign. That's not bad. Now the headwinds. The headwinds for Bit Farms is Riot. It's Riot. Riot keeps getting up in their business. They at Riot actually got a favorable ruling in a Canadian court against Bitfarms for the poison pill. So now Bitfarms has to allow them to buy up to 20% of the company before initiating a poison pill. So that was against Bitfarms, and that is why we saw a little bit of weakness, not as much as you'd expect. But that also means that Riot might be pumping the price up even higher, buying up to that 20% level that they kind of want to get a hold of. Will probably be closer to 19.9 because they know that they will do a poison pill on them because Bitfarms is not friendly to the idea of a hostile takeover, as they should not be. So that's what's going on with Bitfarms. Let's take a look at Riot. How is Riot faring this week? Okay, Riot. On the weekly, let's just go with the SMAs now. We got a green arrow here on the cross-up, a green arrow cross-up on the weekly at a low. Now, when you get it at a high, like up here, that's not good because it fell right after, like both times. But if we get one on a low, did I get one on a low? Yeah, here we go. That's also kind of almost on a high. We got one on a low down here in a flat area, and then it continued for about another month and a half before taking off. So that's interesting. So we could potentially see this thing kind of go flat and then take off. That'd be pretty cool. What is going on in the Riot chart? Let's take a look here. I don't love it. It's at its lows. So like this isn't a bad accumulation area right here, anywhere between, honestly, anywhere below like 1250 is not a bad accumulation for Riot if you're bullish on Riot. We do have the 200-week moving average up at 1643. That will be significant resistance when we get there. We are below the 50-week moving average at 1144, which is also a problem, but we are above the 20-week at 1035, so that's good. We need to get above 1144, show that we have strength above that level, and then we have a chance at going for the 200-week moving average up at 1643 for Riot. Let's take a look here. We are, yeah, no, we're below the mid ATR band on that one. We did come back into structure just like Mara did. Mara is actually looking like it's at a better point of strength when it came back to its moving averages than Riot, so I would be more bullish on Mara than Riot at this time, just based on that movement. Honestly, we're really capped on our movement on Riot up to like maybe $17 or something, unless they come out with something phenomenal. They're like, hey, we just fully energized our 100 exahash and we're running and we're hashing with it. We're not running at 60% capacity anymore and everything's going to be great. Like, yeah, okay. If that were to happen, then sure, Riot's going to run. Riot's going to go crazy. But Riot hasn't. I mean, they bought a company now, so they bought another miner, so they are expanding. They're looking to buy more. They're going to buy more. Obviously, they're going to buy more of a stake in Bitfarms. They're looking to acquire more companies. They might even put a bid out for Cifr, who's trying to sell themselves for now. And that could be good. Now, I'm not sure when Mara comes into the situation for their acquisitions, or CleanSpark's going to acquire any of these companies. We'll see. CleanSpark seems a little more strategic about their buys, though. So I don't know if any of these companies that are that are like widely advertising their sale is something that would interest them, because obviously they're pretty good acquirers. They're looking for things that, like, they're buying stuff that we're not even like talking about until it happens, right? So that's pretty interesting. But right, yeah, upside potential 1770 max, 16 like 60s is probably the more a better allocation of a thought of where it might go. On the downside, we don't have a lot of downside. Honestly, 924, like we're closer to the bottom than the top on Riot. So even just buying and holding for a while right now, and personally probably shares, or long options, like long leaps, you're probably going to see you have a significantly higher chance of price going up than coming down on Riot this time. That's all I'm saying. Same thing with Mara. CleanSpark is a little more dicey since it is pretty elevated in price, but it is near a bottom where it's found a bottom. But if it breaks through that bottom, you have a way further downside than on Riot or Mara right now if CleanSpark were to break that $15 level. All right. But Riot, right? I like where it is. I don't like the way their company has been acting of late, but I like where their price is. Does that make sense? So there we go. Bit Digital. How's Bit Digital doing this week? Bit Digital. Oof. I don't like that pattern. I don't like that pattern at all. This 3-week pattern right here, these 3 candles going up, coming down like that, I don't like that. Now, I'll tell you why. That looks like an evening star to me. That looks like an evening star. Now, we had an up move, right? And then we came up high, and then we got a doji candle followed by a large-bodied um, bearish engulfing, basically, candle that came down, almost completely ate the whole body here of this candle here from July 8th. July 8th. That gives us room. Ooh, yeah. That gives us room all the way down to the mid ATR band at 296. Bit Digital could come down to $3. That hurts my heart to say because Bit Digital is one of my favorite holdings. I have thousands and thousands of these things, and I was hoping to get out for the summer and jump back in around September, like maybe not the whole position, maybe just half of my swings, sell my swing shares. And I missed that 437, thinking it could go a bit higher, and it is showing weakness now that it could go lower. Next week is going to be crucial for Bit Digital. It's going to show us if it's going to keep coming down to $3 or if it's going to charge back up. Now, if I turn on the SMAs, let's take a look at the SMAs. Okay, so there is hope. There is hope that we could bounce. There is on the 5-week moving average. Okay, the 5-week moving average came up. And remember, the last 2 times this thing ran, it came one real close to the 200-week moving average, and previously right up and slightly above it. This time it is at $5.10. I would like to see us at least get close to it. Okay, about that 485 level, I'd like to see that happen. Now, we could see that. Now, we've seen things like this before, right? Okay, so let's take a look at, yeah, we've seen this twice before, actually, where price ran up big and then came back, tapped the 5-week moving average, and then launched, right? So, like, it's not all doom and gloom yet. It's not all panic yet. Same thing back here, December 4th, right? We got a gap up and go, but we came all the way back down to the 5-week moving average and use that as a launch pad next week. Next week is going to tell us what's going to happen. If we lose the 5-week moving average, I'm sorry, but we're coming back down to support. Support's $3. That's going to happen if we lose the 5-week moving average. So if next week we don't see some kind of bounce off the 5-week moving average, we're going to have a bad time. Now, there is some indication here in the MACD and the RSI that could happen. You can see that on the MACD here, that we now have a white bar there coming off the greens. It is closing that gap a little bit. That's not good. The RSI is coming down. It's down to 70 now. It was up at 85. And my RSI is slightly differently set than most, so I do get up higher, faster, and lower faster than the standard. I like my setting. I think I have it at like 7. It's like half the regular setting. Anyways, we could see the RSI meet at 60 with the signal line and then bounce. That would be great. That would be really good. That would actually be really great if that were to happen. We could see this thing flag, but as long as it holds the 5-week moving average and doesn't like break it and go below it, we could still pop up to the 200-week moving average. But it is a bad pattern right now. This is an ugly pattern. It is the absolute inverse pattern of this right down here, which I will draw for you right now. Right here, this one. It's the inverse of this pattern here, which you have this big down candle followed by a hammer, followed by a big engulfing bodied bullish, which went up just above the midpoint of this big bearish candle. That's all you need to do, is just above the midpoint of the previous candle for the evening or morning star. And then notice like 1, 2, 3 weeks of indecision, and then we went off. So if we see 2, 3 weeks of indecision here after this candle, or just a straight up drop, $3, here we come. So keep your eyes on Bit Digital. Watch it closely. It's getting a little dicey right now. Okay, let's move on to Iren. Iren. So I actually bought some Iren this week. Okay, Iren hit my take profit zone here at 967. I sold some puts, some $9 puts when it got down there. Okay, I sold those puts for 3 weeks into the future, and I made about $95 of premium off of that sale of a put. Now, it's a little different when you sell a put. When you sell a put, that means that you are intending to buy those shares at that strike price on that expiration date if it is at or below that level. Okay, so if Iren in 3 weeks is at or below $9, I will be buying it for $9. And essentially my cost basis will be $8.05 because I received $95 of premium for that put. And as it goes lower, I will sell more puts on Iren. That is my plan, all the way down to about $8, where I expect it to, if it even gets that low, I expect it to bounce hard. Okay. And we are seeing potentially potential for that. So the MACD is curling over. We got 3 white bars in a row. It might just come tap the signal line, which could bring it down, just to what, like 870, 880 or so, and then start reversing from there. The RSI is now in bear territory at 47. We are seeing this structure kind of build like previous times it fell off, right? We are below that double top area. The bottom of the double top is at $8, so it could still happen. Now, if we get some turnaround in Bitcoin, it's not going to happen, but it did reach my first my first buy zone at 967. So I bought. If it hits my buy zone at $8, I buy harder. That's my plan. That's what I'm doing with Iren. Now let's take a look at the so on the weekly, the ATR bands, it came down and hit the center ATR band. So it went from being above the top ATR band all the way straight down, just straight down to the center band. Now, it could bounce you. And that's why I started selling puts already. This is why 967 was my first buy zone, because I knew that that's where the mid ATR band could catch us. Okay, could catch us. If we break it, I mean, the lower ATR band's all the way down there. I don't think we're going all the way back down to what, $2? That would be insane. We have too much support in between. But I do think that if we lose that yellow line, we are likely coming to 8, maybe even slightly lower than 8 before finding our way back up again for Iren in Q4. All right, let's take a look at the SMAs for Iren. Yep, look at that. 815, the 20-week moving average, which is likely where we're coming to right now for mean reversion, is at $8.15. Give it 2 more weeks, that's going to be at like $8.50. And I will sell puts or buy shares, whichever I feel like doing. I'm going to sell puts or buy shares as soon as price touches that yellow line. As soon as price touches this yellow line, I am in. And I'm going to go in fairly heavy, because honestly, the lowest it could potentially go is the 50-week moving average at 611 right now, which it'll come up before finding significant support and turning right back around for that Q4 run. It might even be a little bit earlier. Remember, notice Iren, Wulf, Corz, all those ran before CleanSpark, Mara, Riot, Bit Farms. Those 3 ran, and Hut ran before the others. So this is part of the pack that runs early. So this could be running in mid-October. This could be running, even before that. And then the others catch up a few weeks later. So that's what we're looking at for Iren. I do still think it is potentially coming down. I think it's going to collide with the 20-week moving average. I just think that's what it's likely trying to do right now. So nothing to be panicked about. That's not all doom and gloom. It'll probably turn around once it gets there. But like that right now, that's the trajectory that it has. Corz hit the 5-week moving average and bounced. This thing could keep going up. Corz just won't stop. It's so hard on the weekly for Corz to say anything about it, because like it's still in this ascending channel. It hasn't broken it yet. It hasn't lost the 5-week moving average. So it does not look like it wants to collide with the 20-week, which is all the way down at $6.05. I think it wants to bring that 20-week moving average all the way up to like $7, $8 before it is willing to give up this space up here. And I do think that, like 831 to 8 to 780 is likely the lowest. We'll see Corz come in the coming days here before starting to turn back around and go up higher, if it even comes down here. It's not even showing that it wants to do that much. Corz will not let go of those highs. Let's take a look at Wulf. Wulf, ooh, that's bad, actually. Okay, Wulf not looking so hot here. If you're in Wulf, you're going to want to pay attention to this one. In fact, I'll probably do a short about this later. Wulf, this is bad. This is an evening star pattern, okay? Bad one. We engulfed the last 3 weeks this week on Wulf. It came down 20.9%, almost 21%. Wulf is going to come down to the 20-week moving average probably off of this move, okay? That's just reality. It's probably going to. And this was the first white bar on the MACD. It's finally starting to curl over. The RSI heading decisively for bear territory. So we're probably going to hit 383 on Wulf. We're going to hit 383, make an assessment here, and see if it can hold, okay? It's likely what we're going to do. Then the 20-week moving average down here at 316, which will probably be closer to like 340, 350 by the time this price actually comes down to it, is likely where it will eventually find itself in this down cycle for Wulf. It's all about the ebbs and flows. This is the down cycle part. So there's up cycles and down cycles. We're in the down cycle part now for Wulf and for Iren and for many of the Bitcoin miners. Let's take a look here. Yeah, the ATR bands. So The mid ATR band is down at 358. Yeah, like I said, the 20-week might find its way up to 350 before we tap it, and that's what I think Wulf is likely to do. Now, it might find support at 383, which is where this ATR band will be like next weekish, if Wulf can hold up in the area where it currently is. So that is a saving light there. We could turn around at that 383 level on Wulf, but if that doesn't hold, we're coming down to 350, maybe even 320-ish on Wulf. But this is a bad this is a bad weekly close there. That's pretty bad. Not all doom and gloom though. Like I said, this could be an opportunity simply to accumulate going into Q4 as well as into 2025, because we know these things are going to be trading significantly higher in 2025 and probably Q4 than they are today. So that, like, this isn't like it's going to go to zero. I'm not saying that about any of the Bitcoin miners. I'm just saying right now we're at that period of time when they come down before going back up. That's all. So just hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Hut. Ooh, that is bad. Hut had a bad one too. 22.28%. Hut is coming down to the mid ATR band. It's coming down to 1234 probably. It's going to come down to my red line here. It's going to hit my red line, which is currently what, $13, but it might even come a little lower than that. So Hut's going to do that, likely, just like back here. Just like back here in January, so it had a big engulfing red, and then just three more, boom, all the way down to support, and then started building back up again. So Hut, I'm looking for Hut to have two more, maybe 3 more weeks of just intense bearish action, and then we start building up back up again, and then heading on our way up higher once more. Let's take a look at the SMAs. Yeah, same thing on the SMA. The 20-week SMA is all the way down at 1103. We smashed right through the 5-week SMA, which is up at 1663. We might back test 5-week moving average and then drop further. So don't be surprised if we come up to like 1663 and be like, oh, trade cave was wrong. It went up to 1663. Like, no, that's where the 5-week moving average is. If it doesn't break through that and hold above it, then it's not going to continue going up. It'll come back down. Oh, I can get rid of this channel now. Oop, that's gone. Yeah, that's what we're looking at for Hut. Hut's not looking so hot. Cifr. I've been getting a lot of chatter about Cifr lately. Let's see here. Cifr is, let's see here, on the weekly, that's not the worst weekly close I've ever seen. I still think Cifr is likely to hang out between like $7 and $5, like in a $2 range, between $7 and $5. I think it's going to hang out around that $7 to $5 range for a while until a buyer presents themselves. And believe you me, a buyer is not going to give them a high ball offer. If they're looking to sell themselves, they're in distress. If they're in distress, that means that the buyer has the advantage. Now, they might be trying to sell themselves before they're in distress, but the buyers have time to wait. The seller generally doesn't. If they're looking to sell their company, it can't be because things are going great. So keep that in mind. And that is why I'm staying away from Cifr now, because I don't know what spurred this decision to sell themselves. I don't know which buyers are going to come to the table or how good of a negotiators they are when they get there. So Cifr is very there's a lot of unknowns with Cifr right now, given the fact that they are selling themselves. So I am staying far away from it because I don't know what's going to happen. If you are willing to take that risk, that is up to you. I am not willing to take that risk. This is already a very risky sector of the economy. I am not willing to add further risk on top of it. That's my perspective. That doesn't mean I don't like Cifr. That doesn't mean Cifr is bad. That does not mean I think anyone buying Cifr is stupid or anything like that. I don't think that. That is not the case. I simply think that for my risk portfolio, my risk profile, what I am willing to take a risk on, Cifr is outside of that spectrum for me now that they are selling themselves. That is it. It's not a bad stock. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with holding it. I just think that the risk to reward here for me just isn't there anymore now that they're trying to sell themselves. That's it. Anyways, yeah, Cifr, I really think they're going to probably hold between like $7 and $5 until a buyer presents themselves, or we find out that something is severely broken within the company, and then it'll come like way down. Because I mean, you don't sell yourself because everything's going great. CleanSpark's not selling themselves. Bitdigital's not selling themselves. Bitfarm's not selling themselves. They're fighting to not sell themselves. And they're about the same size of a company as Bitfarms. So why are you selling yourself? That's my question, and that's why I'm staying away from it. Anyways, I believe that's all of them. All of our favorites have been covered. So with that said, please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and have a profitable day.